Snow powdered the sidewalks of downtown like sifted sugar, glittering beneath the neon glow of storefronts. It was Christmas Eve, the streets still alive with shoppers lugging glossy bags and children clutching candy canes. Yet on a shadowed corner, beside a row of overflowing dumpsters behind a closed bakery, a tiny figure curled on a flattened cardboard box. Her shoes had holes in them, socks damp, knees pulled to her chest as she tried to shield her face from the cold. That's when Alexander Reed, CEO of a multi-million-dollar real estate firm, caught sight of her while stepping out of his sleek black car. His world was one of polished marble lobbies and glass towers, yet the sight of a girl asleep on trash stopped him cold. Who was she, and why did his chest tighten like he'd stumbled on something he wasn't meant to see? The driver cleared his throat, waiting, but Alex raised a hand, motioning him to wait. He crouched down, careful not to startle the child. Her face was streaked with grime, lashes damp from tears dried too quickly by the biting air. She looked about 6 or 7, a little too thin for her age. The coat she wore was more of a threadbare sweater, sleeves fraying, fabric pilled. He could see her fingers trembling where they clutched the hem. For a man used to boardroom battles and contracts with too many zeros, he suddenly felt powerless. He reached out gently. "Hey, sweetheart, you okay?" Her eyes fluttered open, and she flinched, scooting back until her shoulder hit the dumpster. I'm fine," she whispered hoarsely, though her lips were blue. "Please don't call the police." The words caught him off guard. She wasn't afraid of him hurting her. She was afraid of being sent away. Alex leaned back, giving her space. "No police, I promise. I just want to know if you're safe. Do you have somewhere to go tonight?" She shook her head, then nodded, then shook it again, small hands fidgeting in her lap. He noticed the backpack beside her, duct tape patched across the straps, zipper stuck half open with a broken charm dangling. It sagged with nothing more than a crumpled notebook and what looked like an empty juice box. The sight churned his stomach. A gust of wind bit through his coat, and he instinctively shrugged it tighter around himself. The girl only pressed her arms closer, teeth clattering. He couldn't just leave her. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Maya, Maya," he repeated, letting the name settle in his chest. "I'm Alex. Look, it's freezing out here. Why don't you come with me, just to get warm? There's a cafe across the street open late." She hesitated, eyes darting from his polished shoes to the sleek car idling at the curb. Distrust flickered there, of course it did. What reason had life given her to trust anyone? Still, when her stomach growled loud enough to echo off the alley wall, she blinked down, embarrassed. He pretended not to notice, only rose to his feet slowly and extended a hand. Minutes later, they stepped into a cafe glowing with soft amber lights, bells chiming above the door. The contrast was dizzying. Inside, the air smelled of cinnamon and espresso, couples laughed over steaming mugs, and festive garlands lined the windows. Maya shrank under the brightness, tucking into herself, her worn shoes squeaking against the tiled floor. Alex guided her to a booth in the corner, away from curious stares. He ordered hot chocolate and a plate stacked with pancakes and strawberries, ignoring her murmured protests of, "I'm not that hungry." When the food arrived, her restraint crumbled. She dug in with both hands, cheeks puffed, chocolate mustache forming under her nose. Alex sat back, watching, an unfamiliar ache tugging at him. He thought of his own daughter, Emma, away in Switzerland with his ex-wife for the holidays. Guilt pricked at him. He'd thrown himself into work, barely calling. But this child, this stranger was here, devouring food like it was oxygen. Two women at the next table whispered, one raising a brow at the sight of a suited man with a ragged child. He caught their glance and turned away, jaw tightening. "Let them judge. Where's your mom, Maya?" he asked carefully once her plate was nearly clean. Her fork froze. Slowly she set it down. "She's gone." Something in the way she said it, matter of fact with no space for hope, sent a shiver through him. Gone where? Maya's small fingers twisted in her lap. "She got sick real bad. We stayed in the shelter for a while, but then she didn't wake up one morning." Her voice cracked and she bit her lip hard, trying to hide it. "They said they'd take me to some place with other kids, but I ran." The weight of her words pressed like stone against his chest. He swallowed hard, searching for the right thing to say, but nothing seemed big enough. Maya, he whispered. You shouldn't be alone. You deserve somewhere safe with someone who... I don't want strangers, she interrupted sharply, eyes fierce through the tears. I just want to stay with her. Rehook. At that moment, the cafe door opened, letting in a rush of cold. A woman entered, tall, striking in a deep red coat, snow tangled in her long dark hair. She carried herself like she didn't belong to the noise of the world, her gaze scanning the room. Then her eyes locked on Maya. Her breath hitched audibly, and she whispered a name Alex almost didn't catch. Maya. The little girl froze, hot chocolate halfway to her lips, eyes wide with disbelief. Maya's cup clattered against the saucer, spilling hot chocolate across the table, but she didn't notice. Her head jerked up, her eyes wide and wet as the woman in the red coat moved toward them. Alex could only stare. She looked like someone who had walked out of a different world entirely. Dark curls spilling over her shoulders, lips trembling as if she were holding back something too heavy to name. Her coat was cinched tight at the waist, black boots clicking softly against the tiled floor. She didn't even care that a dozen heads turned to watch her. All her attention was fixed on the little girl. Maya. She breathed again, her voice breaking on the name. She slid into the booth without waiting, reaching across with hands that shook. Sweetheart. Oh my God. Maya shrank back against the seat, torn between hope and confusion. Her throat worked, a thin sound catching there. Aunt Claire? The woman's face crumpled, relief and pain tangling together as tears glistened. Yes, baby, it's me. It's Aunt Claire. I've been looking for you everywhere. Alex blinked, caught in the middle of a storm he didn't understand. He leaned back, giving space though his pulse hammered. Claire, Aunt, missing family. He glanced between them, seeing the resemblance now. Same dark lashes, same sharp chin. Maya's lips parted, trembling. They said you weren't coming, that nobody wanted me. Claire inhaled sharply as though someone had struck her. Who told you that? Her voice was fierce now, shaking with anger. She cupped Maya's face with both hands, thumbs brushing dirt from her cheeks. That's not true. Never true. I wanted you. I begged them to let me keep you, but... She cut herself off, eyes darting to Alex as if suddenly realizing he was there. I'm sorry, she said quickly, straightening, wiping at her eyes. Her composure slipped back into place, but not fully. I should explain. I'm her mother's sister. After my sister passed, I fought for custody, but the state... They said I didn't have the stability, that my job wasn't steady enough. I lost the case. They put her in foster placement. And then she ran. Her voice cracked on that last word, and she looked at Maya as though terrified the girl might vanish if she blinked. Alex's chest tightened. He had walked into this thinking he was helping a lost child for a night, but now he was staring at a broken family piecing itself back together in a corner booth on Christmas Eve. Maya clutched her aunt's sleeve, burying her face there, shoulders shaking with sobs. Claire stroked her hair, whispering, It's okay. I've got you. I won't let go this time. But Alex noticed the flicker of exhaustion beneath her beauty, the faint circles under her eyes, the way her red coat looked elegant but frayed at the cuffs. He recognized hardship hiding under poise. Outside, snow kept falling, muffling the world. Inside, the cafe buzzed on, but for their corner, time felt suspended. Claire glanced at Alex, her expression cautious now, as though measuring whether he belonged in this fragile moment. Thank you, she murmured, voice low, for keeping her safe, for feeding her. I don't even know who you are. Just someone who couldn't walk past, he said simply. His throat felt tight. She studied him for a beat, then nodded. That's rare. Alex could have left it there. He could have excused himself, let them figure it out. But something in Maya's small frame, pressed against her aunt's side, in the way Claire's hands shook even as she held her firm, told him they weren't okay yet. Not really. Do you have somewhere to take her tonight? He asked. Claire hesitated, lips parting, then closing again. Her eyes flickered down, shame creeping in. I'm in a studio apartment. It's barely enough for me. The fridge. Her voice faltered. There's almost nothing in it. A light bulb that keeps flickering. One chair that wobbles if you sit too hard. I've been surviving but not thriving. Definitely not enough to make the caseworker believe I could provide for her. They'd take her from me again in a second. Her honesty landed like a stone. Alex saw it all. The cracked linoleum, the empty shelves, the weight of unspoken bills. She wore dignity like armor, but it was thin, brittle. Maya lifted her face, voice small. I don't care if it's small. I just want to be with you. Claire's lips trembled as she kissed the top of the girl's head, eyes squeezing shut. Rehook. Alex leaned forward, his voice firm, unexpected even to himself. Then maybe I can help. You shouldn't have to choose between keeping her and proving to strangers that you're capable. Not when love is this obvious. Claire looked up sharply, surprise flickering through her tears. Help, what do you mean? He hesitated, feeling the weight of his words before he spoke. I have the resources, connections. If what you need is stability, I can make sure you get it, so no one ever questions whether Maya belongs with you again. The booth fell into silence, save for the hum of the espresso machine. Claire stared at him, wary, torn between hope and disbelief. Maya's small hand crept into his across the table, gripping tightly, as though she sensed something bigger was unfolding. Snow swirled outside the window, cars passing slowly, headlights hazy in the storm. And in that moment, Alex realized this night would change more than Maya's future. It might change his too.